And we've got all the right in the world on our side. And there ain't no reason to be afraid. And there ain't no reason to not take the challenge dead on. Because I'm going to tell you who we come from, folks. We don't come from some weak, jellyback, spineless people. That's not who we come from. None of us. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what nation your folks hail from, how much money you got. We all share the same name. We are Americans. And at Bunker Hill, there was Americans. And at Fredericksburg and Gettysburg, there was Americans. And at Iwo Jima, raising that flag on Suribachi, it was Americans. And at Pork Chop Hill, there was Americans. Quezon, there was Americans. And on 9/11, there was Americans who ran towards those burning buildings. That is who you share your heritage with. You do not share your heritage with a weak and ineffective people who cower at the sight of trouble. You share your heritage with a strong and brave people who are determined to hold on to their freedom and for the freedom of future generations. Guys, it's time for us to stand up and be that generation. It's time for us to stand strong and proud and remember who we are. That we are Americans. And as long as we stand as the vanguard of freedom in this nation, freedom will survive people. Not only survive, but thrive. So guys, it's time to put on our packs. It's time to fix those bayonets. It's time to get ready. We got a fight on our hands. And our fight is not for us, for all those generations that's going to come behind us. Let's save America, folks.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Hey folks, welcome to the program. Yes, my voice is still doing my best Alex Jones impression. It'll come back. It's just something that I have to work on. It happens. And so that's why my voice is considerably different than what you're normally used to. Hey, by the way, folks, do me a favor. Will you please give me a finger, share this program, like it, share it, get it out there. We're going to be talking about maybe something dangerous on the horizon today. But first, how about a little bit of history, right? Like, every now and then I do programs about what happened on this day in history. It's just some cool tidbits. Like, did you know in 1272, the Arabic Muslims invented the condom using a goat's lower intestine? It was improved upon in 1873 when the British refined the idea by taking the intestine out of the goat first. Maybe you didn't know that piece of history. It's probably not that far off, is it? Anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, is there danger at our doorstep? Is something coming? Which is the way, by the way, folks, why I'm telling you to pay attention when I talk to you about GoldGo. Here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm just asking you to go to jovanlovesgold.com. You need to feed your brain to be prepared. Of course, precious metals are through the roof. All I'm asking you to do is to request your free gold and silver kit today, because now it's time to protect your money with gold and silver. Now's the time to do it, folks. Don't just sit by passively and wait for things to happen. I'm not talking about investing in gold and silver. This is something completely different. I just want you to get up to speed on gold and silver. And if, in fact, it makes total sense to you, then you need to think about protecting your assets that way, especially if you have a 401k, IRA, or retirement savings account, right? Please cover your assets. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Is there something brewing? Is there something that's coming to our doorsteps? Is danger here at our doorsteps in the U.S.? I'm going to play you a piece from somebody else's program, and then we're going to kind of do some fact checking and see where we end up on it. You decide. You're an adult. I'll treat you like the adult you are. And you decide is something brewing. We'll get started right after this message.
Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians? The elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd. Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, guys, welcome to the program. The crap we're going to talk about culture, race, and American politics. I want to kind of see if maybe you're recognizing a trend. Is something coming? Is there danger at our doorstep? What kind of tipped me off to this is another broadcaster did a program, which I'm going to show you in a minute, short piece of. And I decided, let me dig into the fact checks. Let me see what's going on. But you've probably heard hints of this. You notice, how long has it been? It's been a few years now since I identified a terrorist as he came across the border, made national news. I explained who this Syrian fellow was and what a bad fellow he was. And of course, he's here in the United States of America and still has not been apprehended. Compliments our government at the time. But have you noticed about how many are military-aged men, but more importantly, about certain structure and identification? Watch this.
Address it to the degree that I can in this session. Clearly, the border's open, and they know it. And clearly, Venezuela, Iran, Russia, and China are working together in a number of areas. Whether it's BRICS or trying to find an alternative international currency to replace the dollar as the international reserve, to undermine the influence of the dollar in the international markets. At that level, diplomatically in the UN and elsewhere, they are working against our interests. As far as the border, there have been over 100 identifiable terrorists that have entered the southern border. Some we've interdicted, some we have not. We have Chinese nationals of military age coming into Latin America, coming across the southern border. They wear the same clothes, they have the same haircuts, they have the same pocket litter, they have the same knapsacks. It's like it's a uniform. and they get processed and moved on. And we know.
What do you mean by? I'm sorry. What do you mean by pocket litter? I mean, I get a vague sense,
Okay.
but what's that?
You have the same wallet. You have the same types of identification. It's all the same. And we have good information that they are products of they have the same rituals, they have the same tattoos, and the operating theory by our Border Patrol and our intelligence elements is they come from one specific special operations unit, and they have from China.
Wait. I'm sorry. You're saying so we actually have knowledge about this. So people show pictures, but you're saying that there's talk in Washington that we know who these people are. They come from a special operations unit of the Chinese Communist Party, and they're not being stopped.
Nope.
Now, as alarming as that is, it's a couple years old. We've talked about this before. We've done the math. The manpower math in this is, if you were to just consider them all military age and possible combatants, they've let in, 9,000 battalions? This all happened under the Biden administration. So the first pulse I want to take from you is put it in chat. Let me see what you think. Do you think something has been planned or is being planned to execute an attack on U.S. soil? Put it in chat. Do you think these nefarious actors, the Biden administration knew about it, they opened it up. Do you think there is a nefarious plan afoot to execute an attack on U.S. soil? Most of you say yes. I don't have any that have a no. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that attack, this is a either or, if you had to choose one, do you think that attack is to disrupt, meaning just to screw things up, make it worse? Or do you think that attack, which will obviously come in a matter of time, is to take over? Those are your two choices. Do you believe it's an attack to disrupt that's coming? Or do you believe it's an attack to try to take over the United States of America? Which one do you think it is? Right? Now, dismantling wasn't a choice. I know dismantling. I didn't leave you the in-between. I left you, it's either just to disrupt, which can be part of a dismantling effect. And then, of course, to take over, you have to dismantle. It's either, I just want to know on the extremes, do you think it's just to disrupt, or do you think it's they're going to take their shot to take over? Interesting. Okay. And one is generically both, right? Now, I do know from some of the highest intel circles in the United States that our country during the Biden administration knew this was going on, and they started to prepare. And they started to prepare our manufacturing companies just in case there was an attack. Here's some of the stuff that the Biden administration was making sure they had in place in case something like this happened.
New from Mattel, Barbie's boyfriend is getting a much needed and way more inclusive makeover. Introducing
Pregnant Ken. He's a man with a baby. He's definitely male and not a lady.
His belly lets you know he's pregnant, and his beard lets you know he's a man. Because men can get pregnant just like women. In fact, there's no definition of women. We literally have no idea what a woman is. Pregnant Ken does all the normal things every birthing person does, like chest feed, then hide his breasts with chest binders. He rocks baby to sleep with his supple masculine arms. And Ken, being a man and therefore a good driver, can even put baby in the back of the car for a fun drive around town. But not everyone in Barbie world is as open-minded as Ken. Men can't get pregnant? Hey, wait a minute. You're just a woman on hormones.
Shut up, bigot.
Tell your birthing people to buy you a pregnant Ken today. Because why should women be the only ones who can experience the miracle of getting an abortion? My body, my choice.
Available in the non-gender specific toy aisle at Target, adjacent to the chest winders for kids. Not legal for sale in Florida, Texas, or Saudi Arabia. Pregnant Ken, not actually a man.
The Babylon Bee is so damn funny. But it's not that far off if you think about what the hell our government was paying attention to. Again, it's part of the distraction. You're finding that this is the dismantling of the United States of America, and all their corny crap is just to, have everybody distracted. Now, let's get focused on what's going on. I want you to go to a report here. Somebody that has tremendous credibility from a news background and otherwise. We're going to go to Dennis Michael Lynch and his program, and he has talked about the recent bulk items that lead him to believe something's coming down and we're about to be in a world of hurt. Let's watch this and we'll comment.
Why is this? Why can't I make a phone call out? I can't make a phone call out to anybody. We learn that half the freaking country is down. It is down because Verizon, once again, the third time in 12 months, has a major outage. Now, let me tell you something that you probably don't remember. Going back not long after 9/11, but long enough to where years had passed by, I think it was maybe 2008, 2009, a bunch of pilots throughout the country had all reported to the FBI and to the TSA and they wrote an entire letter and they all signed off on it to all the, to the union that represents the pilots, you name it, air traffic control, that dry runs were happening on airplanes, that there was no doubt that Middle Eastern men were carrying out the same sort of chaotic behavior on airplanes. And the reports were all matching each other. Clearly, there were dry runs taking place. And so then it triggered off to the feds. We need to have better security. We need to get back into being serious again. But the public never found out about that. It was kept on a low down. In fact, I think there was only one news report about it, and then it went away, which obviously means that the government did whatever they possibly could to tell the news reports this isn't going out. Why weren't you told? You weren't told because they were afraid that you would stop taking flights and that this country would wind up going into a free fall of panic that another 9/11 was about to hit. Folks, I think what we are seeing with Verizon is what may very well be dry runs. You won't hear this anywhere else. And I think it's because, A, people don't focus on the things that are most dangerous and most important. B, every single last measure that the government can take to try to keep you from being in a mass panic situation, they will take. But when you have a major, and I mean a major telecommunications company, the size of Verizon, having an outage for half the country to where phone calls can't be made at all, you can't access anything, and it's down for the majority of the day, understand that this isn't a glitch. This isn't like there was a storm in one of the major hubs where all their telecommunications equipment is kept and, seawater came in and wiped out a basement. This isn't they had a tornado and it wiped out major freaking poles and all different service lines. You're not getting any kind of answer as to why this happened. And when you do get an answer, it's going to be total BS. There is no possible way that you can tell me that last January and then again in October and now again in January, we're seeing these things happen. Now, you can look at it from various different ways. You could look at it from the fact that President Trump right now is threatening on the doorstep of Iran. And the Iranians may very well be saying, you attack us, we're going to take your telecommunications out. I'll give you another example. You may remember this, and if you've seen my movies, especially the last one, They Come to America 4, you will remember the scene in the movie. Going back years ago, there was a story out of Northern California that a power plant had been shot up, and they blamed it on local yahoos who basically were drinking. Okay, you're going to tell me that local yahoos who are drinking are going to sit outside a government facility and just randomly shoot at transformers? No, it's not going to happen. And in my film, I had, if you watch They Come to America 4, that entire film is, woven in, the whole storyline is woven in by me taking a full day journey with a Border Patrol agent who was one of the leaders there in the Southern California sector. And he's about to retire. And as I would like to say, he has diarrhea of the mouth. He's just like, I'm dumping out everything I know. You need to know everything I know. And he explains that when that entire thing happened with the Transformers up in Northern California, that the news reports about the local yahoos was complete BS. That it actually was Hezbollah. Hezbollah, which operates in South America, primarily in Venezuela, also operates in Mexico on the drop of a dime. Hezbollah, which is the equivalent to our Navy SEALs, went up and shot at those Transformers. Didn't take them out. If they took them out, the entire West Coast is in a blackout. You are a blackout, brownout, everything out. And these Transformers, we don't have a lot of them sitting in stock. They're not even made here in America. They're made over in Germany. So you take out those Transformers and the entire freaking system goes down. You won't have any power. You won't have any access, nothing. And so when I asked that gentleman who, I can't remember his name, Chris, I think it was Chris. I can't remember Chris's last name, but I asked the agent, I said to him, why did that happen? Why did they do that? And he said it was one or two different reasons. Number one, it was a warning. Maybe something was happening underneath the sheets. We didn't know about it. And they let a warning that said, you pull what you're about to pull and we're going to turn you off. The second thing it could have been was just a friendly reminder that we're here and we could execute whatever it is that we want to execute within a very short period of time. Do not make a single mistake. If you look at the timing of when these different attacks have happened, you had an attack right before on Verizon, right before Trump comes in. October, you have another one, and now you have it now. What's taking place right now? Venezuela. We now have Tucker Carlson interviewing guys from Russia who are saying they're thinking about maybe taking out nukes and hitting Europe with nukes. And of course, we've got the threat that we're going to go into Iran, take out the Ayatollah, because the Ayatollah is killing his own citizens, which has never been something, that's nothing new. He's just doing it at a greater level. Make no mistake. If I had to take all my monies right now and bet one way or another, I either double my money, I lose it all, I put it on, this is a dry run. This is a warning to say, if you pull the shenanigans that you are going to pull, right, wrong, or indifferent, you are going to suffer a great, great loss. Or it could be just like the Hezbollah story I told you. If it's not a, hey, here's a warning, you attack Iran, you get in the way of Russia, you do more of this Venezuela stuff, and this is what it is you're looking at. Here's half the country today. We'll pull out the full country tomorrow. Or it could have just been the friendly reminder that we're here and we're ready to do whatever we have to do. So keep yourself in line, President Trump. You will not hear about this Verizon thing again. It will be buried. Because Americans have their phone back now. I could make phone calls now. And so I just very easily blow this off and just let it go off to the side. And that is a mistake. And it's why the American people no longer are what we used to be. Point blank. Don't know how else to say it. Do not know how else to say it.
Okay, here's the question. What do you think about that? Put it in chat. But which do you think it is? Do you think our system knows these guys are here and that those guys go around and threaten the United States of America to keep us or to keep Donald J. Trump in check? Do you think that's going on? Now, I do not doubt at all that these rat bastards are here, period. But just taking the concept that they basically go out there and stir up a little muckraking just to keep our government, our agencies in check and say, you better play ball with us. Don't go screw with our little gig over here in Venezuela or China, or we're going to do something to you. What do you think? Put it in chat. Do you think that's a possibility that they have our country, our current president, us by the short hairs? And not in a good way, more like a reach around against your will way. Do you think that's going on? And yes, if you use common sense, there is a reason they flooded our borders with these warriors. There is a reason. They're not just putting them here to be citizens, period. It does explain a lot of the inaction going on. There are plants, I agree, there are plants and sleeper cells all across the United States, right? Who knows? But let me ask you a simple question. From a scale to 0 being none to 100%, I feel perfectly safe from this, meaning an attack on our soil. Foreign nationals, radicals, terrorists attacking America. Give me your percentage of how safe do you feel? 0, you feel totally exposed and something's going to happen? 100%, you feel nothing's going to happen. Put it in chat. Tell me where you sit right now in your sensitivity gauge. Simply Gail, does that mean you're a 2? Meaning, holy shit, we're in trouble, it's happening. Laura says 75% safe, right? True. God bless gun owners. Absolutely, God bless gun owners. So Gail says she's at 2%. She's at rock freaking bottom. It happens. 50-50, right? We're not safe, but we all know we're not safe. I want a percentage. Jerry feels we're 100% safe. That was the question, Jerry. Are we 100% safe from this? Do you think we're 100% safe? Some people are saying, hey, I'm a little more remote. I feel 80% safe. Oh, 100% unsafe would be 0, meaning I have no safety, right? And so the question was, I have to say it one more time. 0 means we're going to get our ass handed to us. We're going to get attacked on our soil. 100% means I feel 100% we're safe. Where are we in there, right? Yeah, 0% safe. I truly believe something's coming. I believe it's kind of like what went on recently in Oklahoma with a mosque wanting to be established. And finally, the people stood up. But part of the people testifying on behalf of the mosque was the local churches, basically saying you can't suppress people's religion. And I think that's kind of the hijack, because they teach you to be all nice and kumbaya and everything else and don't be racist. When if you actually look at the Muslim teachings, it says clearly, lie to the infidel's face to get what you want. And you have churches standing there saying, no, we need to build mosque in the community here. So for me, I think something's coming. Now, with that said, there were many things that he talked about in that video. And let's just kind of do a fact check on. If we were just to pop back in time, 36 months, right? 36 months. We're halfway through the Biden maladministration and we're headed to where we are now. How many major tech outages do you think happened? And we're talking major, where a vast part of the system went down, and it didn't go down by an accident. It went down by something purported to be a hack or an attack. Do you know? See, when tech goes down, you can source it. You can say, well, it was a transformer or a storm, just like if you live remote, somebody slides off the road, hits a power line. You can kind of track it back how it happens. How many different intentional attacks do you think have happened on our infrastructure in the last 36 months that created a significant, meaning widely reported, high-profile outage? In 36 months, somebody says thousands. I'm talking big events, just like he was talking about Verizon. Here's what you've got. We had one January 25th, 2023. That's when Microsoft Teams and Clouds was attacked and went out. That was a global disruption. February 14th, the 2023 T-Mobile, same thing. June 13th, 2023, AWS East, remember all AWS went down. Never ever had it happen again. March 5th, same thing happened to Meta, Facebook, all of Instagram. February 22nd, 24, AT&T, same thing, everything, including 911, including the FCC back hotlines to get it started again. June 19th, 2024, all of the CrowdStrike happened, and that's because a little piece of software in the Falcon update was stuck there. It basically took out devices. It took out airlines. It took out banks. It took out hospitals. July 19th, 24, Microsoft 365, it happened. June 12th, 2025, you had Google, all of Google Cloud, everything went there. November 18th, 2025, Cloudflare did the same thing. It was the surrounding sites. It affected X the most. Then right after that one, once that affected X, they had to weigh in. And June 13th, they took down X, largest one it's ever had. And then June 14th, 2025, the big Verizon one just talked about. Those are ones that are significant. And I read to you intentionally caused. Intentionally caused. Not an accident, not a boo-boo, not a mouse chewing through a power line. Somebody came in, hacked, took over, shut down. Now, to me, when I see these patterns as a technologist, I see systematic testing. Now, if you're a terrorist and you're planning a terrorist attack, are you familiar with one of the tactics that they have begun to use in the Middle East? They wanted to up their casualty rates. Okay? They wanted to up the number of people they could kill. So how did those systems go about upping the damage and the destruction? Well, they'd send in a suicide bomber. Everybody's kind of shocked, right? I've told you this before in my past. In the late 80s, when I was a much younger man traveling the world before I was in DC in time. I'm just kind of all over the place. Back then with suicide bombers and attackers, they used to wear the explosives around their neck. So the bomber would come out into the street and they're screaming their particular message and they'd go boom. You the explosion. And it would just it happens so fast, it's just kind of a mist. And now you're looking at a body from, shoulder blades up, basically. The head's gone. It just goes, it's really weird. But the body stands there. I kid you not. The body doesn't really fall like you think, not like in the movies. So they'll trigger, they'll detonate, there goes their head, and you'll kind of see the body, right? The hands will come up, and they'll kind of go, which is really weird because it's the body as if the head was there. They all do the same. It looks around. There's a consciousness there. So they hit that bomb, boom, there goes their head. It's a pink mist, boom. And then they do this. No head there, but the body mimics the movement, and they look around. Then as the explosives, they started to put them in jackets. They're going from the waist up. I tell you these things because you have to understand the progression of it. And at that time, when they hit it and you see somebody do it, they disappear from the waist up. Again, it's just a pink mist. It's not blowing chunks. If I saw one, I saw 100. Those bodies with no upper parts will do the same thing. In fact, a lot of them will take a step or two before they hit the ground. They'll literally take a step. Now, what happened during those times, and you get into the 90s and stuff, and it really started heating up and becoming even more political bullshit, then they started taking more people with them. This is where they're lining their bodies with ball bearings, nails, etc. And it's not just killing them, it's turning them into grenade shrapnel. Now, this is different than blowing up people. I'm talking about suicide bombers. And so on the evolutionary scale of what they do in a terror attack is just to get more and more and more and more. However, where they are currently in the evolutionary scale, the scale of these bombers, is now, because the systems have kind of become a little bit more sophisticated, and you learn, right? You don't let that car get close to you. And when they're weaving in and out of the blocks of the barriers and not stopping, you don't take a chance, and you're freaking taking them out 200 yards away before they get to you. It's the only choice you have. You just can't let them get to you. Well, what they do now is if they can get the bombers into a closer interior and set it off, have the person detonate and take people with them, they kind of watch around and they let first responders respond. So now you've got military, you've got military police, you've got relative policekeeping or police forces, you might have peacekeeping forces, you have fire, you have ambulance, and everybody's working to triage the scene. As they're working to triage the scene, then the next round of attacks come in. Because see, that's a bigger hit. You can take out military, right? A few military targets at a checkpoint. But what they want to do is they want to take out first responders. Well, we're at the time now that type of attack is possibly being prepared on an evolutionary scale here in the United States of America. And it's a double-sided attack. They want to get into areas they don't have access to so they can do damage. They want you to think they are first responders. And they want you to do what citizens do, first responders, police yelling at them, get down, get over here, go in here. They want you just to follow blindly directions because, you're all cuckoo because shit's happening. And so one of the things I do look at, and Dennis was also looking at, is this trust factor that's working across the United States if there is an attack being planned. So one of the things to look at aside from technology, remember, taking out technology like Verizon means you can't call for help. You can't call for reinforcements, right? You're kind of stranded. All the phone lines go down. All your internet's going down. You're not getting any reports. You're freaking out. And then maybe down your street, your neighborhood, or at the school, God forbid, at the school, here come the first responders. And you're thinking, great, they're here. They're going to protect the kids. We can't call out from the school, but here they're going to protect the kids. Well, I want to let you know again, using the last 36 months as a rule of thumb, meaning when the Biden administration was in the height of their just shuttling in as many criminals as they could to where we get down. Do you know what happened, has uniformly happened across the United States? First responders, uniforms, uniform storage, and uniform companies. I got to remind you, you found some of this in Ohio months back. The press suppressed it. On one of these attacks, they went into an apartment and found all of this first responder gear. Do you remember that? Eyewitnesses talking about it, and then the media shut it down. Well, we have a plague going across the United States right now. And that first responder companies, outfits, warehouses, storage are getting hit. Columbus, Ohio, fire and police training academies are getting hit. It's happened in Medford, Oregon. It's happened in Pennsylvania multiple times. It's happened in Walton County, Florida. It's happened in Maryland, Winter Haven, Florida, etc. Higher than it's ever been. Higher than it has ever been in the history of the United States of America is the systematic theft and robbery of first responder uniform and tools. Now, I want you to understand, it's not like you're going to go, hey, you want a fireman's outfit? Look at my little garage saw. I'll show you a fireman's outfit. It's not how it happens. So I'm saying there's not what you would call an effective secondary market for it. Yeah, maybe a chainsaw, if a fire truck had a chainsaw, but a lot of their higher end equipment, jaws of life, etc., you're not going to use, and the common man's not going to buy it because even if you want to get parts for it, you couldn't fit it. And so we have a rash right now during this same time of tech attacks all across the United States that first responder uniforms primarily, secondarily the tools, but they're hitting the uniforms. And then the more sophisticated equipment like the thermal cameras, the FLIR cameras, etc. Now, for me, that's a warning sign. Because if you think about it, if all hell was breaking loose in a city, people were going to feel a sigh of relief. Let's talk schools. They want to do the most damage. If all of a sudden they see the cavalry coming. Oh, it's the firemen and whatever, we're safe. And then they go in and take over a school and obliterate a school. It's happening. It's happening. Now, are there any other trends with this? We're just looking at trending data that might coincide with all of these illegals being led across our borders. Now, we've talked about, well, we do have all this theft of first responding gear, the whole bit. Do you know what also coincides with this? There's two other trends that are running neck and neck with this. High stakes burglaries hitting armories and gun stores. You can almost lay them over each other. Not only globally, massive one happened in Germany, which you know is a hotbed for terrorism, right? Literally happening across the United States right now. We not only have large gun stores being robbed, we have large armories being robbed, and you probably haven't heard about this, but we actually have National Guard armories being robbed. Our own governmental supplies of weapons and ammo are being robbed. And if you look at the places they're being robbed, and you look at where these are located in the, Virginias and Connecticut's and Maryland's and New York, it all coincides with an exceptionally high concentration of illegals and high concentration of Islamist, extreme Islamists coming in. We're not talking about taking a box of 100 rounds of ammo. We're talking 20, 30,000 rounds at a time. We're talking thefts of, and you haven't heard of these, but how about 6,000 firearms stolen? Then the next year, they got another 6,000 firearms. This is not small stuff that's going on. Now, there's one more trend that's going with this, meaning it's higher than it's ever been. When I say trend, you know, we had more illegals than we ever had from these terrorist countries. We've got more crisis in the streets than we've ever had. We've got more robberies of first responder equipment and uniforms than we ever had. We've got more mass robberies of ammos and guns and military weapons in our shores. Also has gone through the roof. And the last one that has gone through the roof, explosives. Some of the highest incidents that you can get from the data of the ATF is we're having incident after incident after incident of large scale commercial explosives being stolen. And it's not only large-scale commercial explosives, they're actually hitting the facilities that are the ones that are the federal licensed facilities. Same time, all over. Bulk thefts of the other parts needed, almost in unison, of the blasting caps. That happened in Maryland. Same cities. These same cities keep on popping up. Same city. Then, what the Biden administration didn't report, but you probably heard in a release that was done by the White House, inside our own Department of Justice, there had been a long-term, ongoing theft of military gear, explosives, blasting caps, flashbangs, smoke grenades, etc. We're talking on large scale inside our own DOJ, like in Washington State. Those kind of slip under the radar. So now I'll go back and I ask you a question. Power grid being tested, internet systems being tested, all of these illegals coming in, militant illegals, cracking down on Christianity and prayers, letting Muslims go. And at the same time, we've got massive, massive thefts of the very armaments and stuff that would make it look like it was our own government there coming to save us. Now, for me, that's a double disaster. Here's why it's a double disaster. It could be used against unsuspecting people if they were to pull out a false flag event. The other side of it is it could be used to convince people that your own government attacked you, which could trigger an internal civil war. And if they do the coordination and it takes down the phones and the internet, you're not going to get any outside information. You're not going to be able to know, hey, this was a setup and we got to be prepared and whatever, wait for the whites of their eyes. The information is not going to travel fast if it's all coordinated. So for me, where I sit, when I think about this, yeah, I think something's coming. I think all the signs are there, and I think there's danger at our doorstep. We did it. And when I say we did it, just like we paid for it, I mean, it just amazes me. We do this to ourselves. we have become so apathetic. We have become so desensitized. And I'll give you an example. And here's the prime example. It's estimated that Mike Lindell will probably win the governorship of Minnesota. And some people are going to go, yeah. But when you look back at Mike Lindell and his team cornering election integrity, and you find out in court he never had the PCAPs and it was total bullshit, he lied to you, but now you're going to reward him with putting in office because you're tired of lying politicians. You see how we do it to ourselves? Think about that. The one thing you don't want is lying, bullshit, grifting politicians, but you can't look at the facts and you're going to put somebody like that in who will lie right to your face and raise tons of money. This is the sickness of our country, because at the same time we become apathetic, we have no standards. We forgive and forget, and we overlook. I kind of think if they'll stand up on TV and lie to your face, they'll lie to your face in person, and they'll do just what benefits them. That's what I think. And how do you get people to get rid of their standards? You erode them a little at a time, until in fact you have no standards. But damn it, they're Christian. So here's my point. All of this comes down to us. If you have no standards for the people that you put in office, then we get exactly what we deserve because we had no standards. If you think, everything's fair, they're nice, and they talk a lot, and they praise God, even though all their shit's crap, but I like them. And it's not a popularity contest anymore, folks. We're at war. We truly are at war. And man, it's getting harder every day to truly identify the enemy. And man, I'm telling you, it sucks, big hoo-hoos, to have to choose the lesser of the evils. And it's no longer the lesser of the two evils. It's like the lesser of 100 evils. This is why I've been telling you for several years now, this is about your doorstep. This is about your front door and your back door. If you don't start covering your ass, your ass is going to be uncovered. You're going to be exposed. And the quickest way to make civilization fold to an evil dictator, two things: fuck with their food, fuck with their entertainment. Look how people went batshit crazy over toilet paper during COVID. Fuck with people's food, fuck with people's internet. You'll get them, please, we can't take this. Oh my God, I can't see my updates. What are my friends doing? We're in trouble. And so now we got to get hyper local. You got to get down. You got to start thinking about your food supply. You got to start thinking about your backup. You got to start thinking about where you live. You really got to know where your neighbors come down, because that neighbor either is going to fight side by side you, protecting your home, children, and family, or that's going to be the neighbor that's going to come over and take your shit. And that's where it falls down. It falls down because if you don't have people around you can trust, you're exposed. And so even though we're all distracted by this national government and everything else, I'm begging you to take some personal responsibility and to take some personal inventory of the people around you, and don't push this off. Don't push this off. Some people will say there's no way to prepare. That's not true. Let me tell you why. If you sit here and go, well, it's going to happen anyway, and you do nothing, you have no water, you have no food supplies, shame on you. If you sit here and say it's going to happen anywhere, better have some water, better have some food supplies, you're better off. But when it happens, because it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, that's when people finally wake up, when it hurts. So be prepared for when it hurts that you can write it out. I'm just telling you, I think something's coming. Something's at our doorstep. I don't want you to get caught. And yes, there's so many fights we have to fight, and we have to stay at it. We have to have ethics. We have to stay on course and not be distracted. Because it's not just a fight for you, your family, your kids, your grandkids, and your way of life. It is a fight for our very nation and our soul. The American soul is what at stake. I love you all. Share this program.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies filed 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pull the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.